Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jai. Fast, fast. Yashodanandana Braja Janarana Yashodanandana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Chari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Jayo Radha Ras Bihari Radha Ras Bihari Radhe. Jayo Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman Sita. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottara Shatasri Srimati's Divine Grace Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON founder Acharya, BPD founder Acharya, Savior of the whole world Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottara Shatasri Srimati Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की. श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की. ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की. मथुरापुरी धाम की. पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की. श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की. गंगा मैया की, यमुना मैया की, भक्ति देवी की, श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की. श्री श्री राधा रास बिहारी की. श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र मैया की. श्री श्री गौर निताय की. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की. भरत महाराज की. रघुगण राजा की. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती इति नामिने। श्रीवार्षभानवी देवी दायिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्णसम्बन्ध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिद श्रीगौरा करुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्ध अपसिद्धान्तध्वान्तहारिणे। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भारसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजायते नमः। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने कृष्ण गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते। गौर आविर्भावभूमिस्त्वं निर्दिष्टा सज्जनप्रियः वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतौ पङ्गोर्मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्भोजो राधा मदनमोहनौ दिव्यादृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षणवेणुस्वनिर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथाय श्रेयस्तु नः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। या ठीक है। They must be knowing me, na? Yeah, I'm world famous. ठीक है।
So we have the auspicious presence of His Grace Sundarshyam Prabhu ji with us. So as I think all of you know, Prabhu ji is one of the earliest devotees who joined in ISKCON Pune temple when Radheshyam Prabhu ji started preaching in 1996. So now 30 years Prabhu ji has completed in ashram. And as some of you may know that Prabhu ji had joined when the last exam of the engineering last exam ended, immediately after the exam, Prabhuji packed his bags and shifted to temple. So that is how Prabhuji had joined. And after that, Prabhuji also had served as JUHU, that is the Sankirtan department of Pune temple. They call it a JUHU department. So Sankirtan department also Prabhuji was heading for many, many years. And I got a fortunate opportunity to travel with Prabhuji in 2013 once for a few days. I saw how, earlier also I had seen, that time I saw again, how Prabhuji always carries Srila Prabhupada's 15-20 small books, at least, with him, always.
I have now also, if you want to take.
So you can see, so Prabhuji always carries Srila Prabhupada's books with him. At any opportunity, Prabhuji keeps distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. And not only distributing, Prabhuji himself studies also. I saw in 2013 also. Prabhuji had a target at that time. Now I don't know, may have increased also. But
Now Acharya's books are the targets.
So Prabhuji at that time was reading minimum 15 pages of Srila Prabhupada's books every day, minimum. That was strict target Prabhuji was completing, even while traveling, preaching, going everywhere I have seen. So we are very fortunate to have, now Prabhuji is traveling many places. Prabhuji, I don't know, you are going out of India also?
No. I am at your lotus feet. If your feet go out of India, then I will have to go.
to save me. So Prabhuji, all over India, Prabhuji travels and preaches. And I can say one thing very nice, that Pavanputra Prabhu, I remember many years ago, several times while sitting and talking, he shared, Pavanputra Prabhuji is the student of His Grace Sundarshyam Prabhuji only. And Pavanputra shared with me many years ago, several times he shared actually. He said that Pavanputra Prabhu was bringing a lot of success in Warangal youth preaching, NIT Warangal youth preaching in 2008, 9 and 10. And that was the reason why His Grace Radhashyam Prabhuji sent him, that he is doing such great work in Pune. So he'll go and do in JUHU also. So then Prabhu was sharing with me that in those 3-4 years, if I could be of any success, the only reason is that I followed Sundarshyam Prabhuji. Whatever Prabhuji will say, I will just follow it as it is. That is the only secret of success, if any success at that time he got. So you can imagine that was nearly 20 years ago. So we have a very experienced Vaishnava who's studying, practicing, traveling, preaching, distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. So very wonderful opportunity for all of us for 4-5 days to have Prabhuji's association, to study Srimad Bhagavatam nicely. I request all the devotees that sometimes devotees in the afternoon session, they get a little late. So please please come on time. Of course, today we have continuous session, but tomorrow onwards. And also, as you would have already done, please silence or switch off your mobile phones. So let us welcome Prabhuji by loudly chanting from the heart once. Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
It's my great fortune to be at the lotus feet of all the servants of Shri Shri Radha Ras Bihari, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, and Shri Gaur Nitai, and obviously Srila Prabhupada. This is his office. So I have not taken darshan of Shri Radha Ras Bihari yet, but I am taking darshan of them through you all. They are shining in your hearts. Just by looking at you, I can see them directly, very clearly. In fact, I remembered our SBN choice altar there. Gaur Nitai are there and Radha Ras Bihari are there. And also in Hyderabad, I think, some choice center. I have not gone here, but I remember those photos. They are fixed, brown border with some design. So like that. So thank you, His Grace, especially Nimai Nitai Prabhu for calling me, and His Grace Radha Krishna Prabhu also. He is part of other forum. Acha, you are the one. Okay, thank you. So because of these two great souls. Okay, he is invisibly behind. I never knew about him, but I know that he is behind you all. So then I'm grateful to these two. Because of them, I'm here. Personally, I don't have any qualification, either to be at the lotus feet of Shri Radha Ras Bihari, or to be able to teach something from Bhagavatam or Shri Upadeshamrut of Rupa Goswami. But devotees' greatness that they accept us despite all our deficiencies, faults. So thank you once again, and welcome you all for this forum of Bhakti Vaibhav, in which we'll be discussing 5th canto, 11 to 14 chapters. Let's see how we proceed. We have 17 verses in the 11th chapter, then 16 in 12, 26 in 13th, and 46 in 14th. What is 13th there? More elaborated, forest of material enjoyment in 14th, which is quite famous. The other three earlier ones have less verses. Let's see how we go. Sorry for coming late today. My train only arrived late, and then we postpone the whole thing. Instead of 11 to 1 and 2 to 4, we are having 1 to 4. Like that. Today morning only, it has been going on there. Vaishnav Ninda seminar. His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedant Thakur has written book Vaishnav Ninda. So that is translated in English by His Grace Vidwan Gaurang Prabhu. And His Grace Ram Bhadra Priya Prabhu from Belgaum takes seminars on this. Till now 5 seminars he has given. So 5th one, I think, or 6th one was in Pune. Today morning only attended. So just seeing this photo, I have to do yet research, but I heard statement from him today morning that how can Bharat Maharaj be, who was at the Bhava Bhakti stage, it's like 99.99, or you can say 99.5% is the attraction to the Lord. There is hardly any attraction. There is no attraction almost to Maya, material energy. So how can he be distracted by a deer? Though externally he did think, after protecting the deer, oh, this helpless deer, who else is there for this deer but for me? This is my praja, and I have to protect the praja. So the samatva, and he got little distressed that how can this deer be suffering and all that. So samatva was lost, sukha, dukkha and all that. That status was lost, externally at least. And then he only ended up taking care of that deer, became attached. Attachment cannot be there to anything material at that stage. So how all arrangement of that is clarified by our acharyas. He as well as Priyavrat, these two cases are the arrangements of the Lord. And then he was telling how Bharat got attracted to this deer. I just heard, but I want to again ask him that this deer was none other than Krishna only. Krishna only came in the form of this deer. So he got attracted to that deer because Krishna is all attractive. And then kind of Krishna distracted him from his spiritual practices. And then we know the rest of the history. We are just going to discuss later part of that only. So we should not see faults in these great characters which are appearing in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. But we have so many things to learn from them. That should be our mood, especially for brahmacharis. Anywhere Prabhupada talks about 4 ashrams, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi. In brahmachari, then in bracket he writes student life, vidyarthi. Vidyayam arthayate iti vidyarthi. One who is always in the mood of learning. He is a brahmachari. So we should always learn. Scriptures are there, and in day-to-day life also. This is a small school, like this Bhakti Vaibhav course. We have already are in a classroom. Teacher is there, students are there, books are there, pen, paper, everything, whole setup of classroom is there. So we are already in the school, kind of. Prabhupada also said ISKCON is a big university. So that way also we are in school. And life is also another school. So we have theory classes here, and life after the classes, when we go out of the classroom, then we have this world itself as a classroom. And we keep learning the experiments. Here theory classes and the experiments are done in the daytime. So both ways we are learning, and we should always be in the mood of learning. Then we'll be very successful for remaining lifelong brahmacharis. should be always in the mood of learning. So as he was introducing, so I have been reading Acharya's books nowadays. Prabhupada books for these kind of things I read a little bit, and I'll read more also for this Bhakti Vaibhav. But otherwise, so many acharyas have written so many books, and we have to learn so many things. Life is not enough. Recently means maybe 5-6 months back, I heard His Holiness Indradumna Swami Maharaj lectures, some 12 lectures I think, on Govind Dev, the entire history. So how did he get all into all that? If you all have gone to Vrindavan temple, so from Radha Shyam Sundar temple, when we go towards Fogla Ashram, left side, in between on the left side there is a Vrindavan Research Institute. How many of you have seen at least the board outside? On the left side only you'll find that. One gate is there, inside might be big. I have never been inside. So there that whole thing has come to Maharaj and ISKCON. And there are 32,000 books there. 32,000 books. And most of them are about our Gaudiya Acharyas. Many letters shared between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami and other Goswami, Vishwanchakra Thakur's. Lot of, in fact, many things are dilapidated or they are crumbled because of effect of sunlight and all other things. Some of the books, if you just pick them up, they will all become powder because termites and everything, the effect of the natural elements has happened. But anyway, whatever we can preserve. So there 32,000 books are there. So then when I heard that from Maharaj, then I was thinking whether I can read those 32,000 books in this life. It's impossible. Maybe in 10 lifetimes also impossible. But desire should be there to learn from our acharyas. And then we can, being always eager, that enthusiasm, utsaha nishya dharya, something new. But Brahman should always, every day should learn something new. So we should read scriptures. Then newer and newer things will be learned. Otherwise, sometimes we feel everything is the same only, same things are repeated. We are not body, we are spirit. So Krishna is the Supreme Personal Godhead, going back to Golok Vrindavan. Nothing new. So if you read the books, you can know so much more. And then in the classes also. Anyway, so we'll start with our subject matter. 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Jada Bharat instructs King Rahugan. You know the past, I told in one shot, in the little some way. Jada Bharat Maharaj left everything of his kingdom and went to forest. But once this incident happened, in which he got attracted to this small baby deer and started taking care, became attached. As a result, thinking of deer, he died. Yam yam apismaran bhavam tejati ante kalevaram tam tam eveti kaunte sada tad bhavavayata. So he got the next body of a deer. But then he was completely detached. So this Prabhu was telling today morning that Bharat Maharaj, whatever attachment he had to Krishna, that increased thousands of times more in the body of deer. So how can it be fall down? It was exclusively arrangement of Krishna. Otherwise the attachment would not have grown. So that deer was born somewhere in Karanj forest or somewhere. From there all the way it walked, leaving parents, all the relatives, went all the way to Pula Ashram, previous life where he had been as Bharat, and was associating with the sages, did not eat lush green grass, but rather took just the dry leaves fallen from the tree, kept hearing the sages, and like that left the body. Next lifetime he was born as Jada Bharat. Bharat only, but because he behaved like a dumb person, Jadavat, appearing almost like deaf, dumb, though he was none of this, but appeared like that. So Jada Bharat. And then in his life also, His Grace Radhesham was telling that he came across 3 groups of people. His brothers who were passionate. They wanted all that, whatever the crops and everything for them only. Father was kind, you know the pastime, you must have discussed. So, but no matter whatever father tried to teach him, he was not understanding. Father told after going to toilet, wash hands with the soil and all, then take bath. He would take bath, then wash the hands with soil, then he would go and pass stool and come back and not take bath only. So father tried best but could not. Father left body, mother had already died. Then his brothers made him work hard as a what they call scarecrow in the fields, and would give him very ordinary broken rice, etc. So they were passionate brothers. So he experienced passion. So he kept mum. Throughout he did not speak because this is not suitable audience. Then he was caught in the jungle by those dacoits, and he was about to get sacrificed, but then the deity of Durga broke open and attacked all those dacoits, killed them all. So these people were ignorant fellows. They were offering human sacrifice to Durga. So there also Jada Bharat kept quiet. Then he came across Rahugan now. Rahugan is in the mode of goodness. He is going to Kapila Ashram to hear from Lord Kapila some katha. So he is in the mode of goodness. But then he is still not in the mode of pure goodness. So it takes one to know one. He doesn't know that here is a great soul. He could not understand the advancement, spiritual advancement of Jada Bharat. Thus, that pastime of palanquin carriers, when there was disturbance he experienced, he said, "What nonsense, don't you know how to carry?" Then they said, "Sir, Maharaj, it's not our fault. This new person who has joined, he is only stopping in between, because anytime Jada Bharat saw ants passing by, he would not want to step on them. He would resist, he would slow down. So that created disturbance." So then again it happened, Jada Bharat, the Rahugan became very angry and said, "What nonsense, don't you understand all that?" So that is the time, first time Jada Bharat is going to speak. He is somebody who can understand. He can apply it and get purified, become pure devotee. So only with Rahugan only he spoke for the first time, because a suitable audience. In the 20th chapter of 10th canto also you'll find that description of autumn season. Different natural happenings are compared to day-to-day life, how to practice, get lessons in life. So there it is said that in the rainy season, it's very heavy rains. You know this Lonavala in between Bombay and Pune. So there you will find so many, what they call, waterfalls continuously flowing in the rainy season. But in autumn season, next 2 months, 2 months of Varsha Rutu, next 2 months of autumn, Sharad Rutu. So that time you will find some of these waterfalls, sometimes they flow, some other times they don't flow. Because earlier rain sometimes may come, so whatever the reason. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it doesn't rain. So, but in the rainy season it continuously rains, so continuous flow. But here sometimes it flows, sometimes it doesn't flow. Similarly, great souls, pure devotees, sometimes they speak when they find suitable audience, and some other times they don't speak. So likewise here Jada Bharat has found a suitable candidate in the form of King Rahugan. Then he speaks. So that is the discussion. This is the background. So now the teachings of Jada Bharat. We are continuing. The 10th chapter was Maharaj Rahugan meets Jada Bharat. So now 11. Jada Bharat instructs King Rahugan. So we have 17 verses. Let's see how. Prabhupada in the summary, earlier up to 4th canto or so, Prabhupada had not been giving summary of any of the chapters. But somewhere, I'm not sure exactly where, 5th canto for sure it seems. But maybe in the 4th canto also, yeah. From chapter 1 we have that. So he has started giving. That's the style of Srila Bhaktivedant Thakur. For whatever reasons, earlier Prabhupada did not give that summary up to 4th canto or so. But now here we have. So in that third line says, actually a person who is on the transcendental platform does not care for social behavior that sacrifices spiritual advancement. So Jada Bharat was oblivious to all these social norms and all that. He was, in fact, earlier he took wrong association. That means he became attached to deer. In order to not become attached to any relative, he was behaving like deaf, dumb, dull person. So that they will feel, what is the use, this is useless fellow. And they would kind of have some aversion towards him. They won't have any attachment. Attachment, how it develops? By regular interactions. Especially that loving interaction. Dadati pratigranati, guhyam akhyati pruchhati, bhungte bhoja. Prabhu, here is some Mahaprasad, please take it. I have brought for you all Shri Radha Kunja, Vrindavan Chandra's Mahaprasad. Hari Bol. So that, so loving exchange. So now while giving, I will tell you this is from Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Or in case it is from some other place, Radha Kunja Bihari, I can tell you. So that way love increases. But here you go to Jadabharan and say, here is Mahaprasad. So the love attachment cannot develop only. Even if the relatives wanted to develop attachment, he purposefully behaved in such a way, all the roads, it's like doors are closed, like that. But then he speaks only here, like that. No one should neglect to control the mind. This letter teaching, the next page Prabhupada says. And towards the last end, one should kill mental concoctions by the sword of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotee. One should kill mental concoction. That is the definition of Sthita Pragya also. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmannevatmana tushtas Sthita Pragyas tadochyate. Second chapter. When in 54th verse Arjuna asked Sthita Pragyasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadim kim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim. What are the characteristics of a person of steady intelligence? How does he speak? How does he sit? How does he walk? They are all superficial questions, but deeper meanings are there. How does he behave in the presence of external sense objects and all that kind of. So first answer only 255. Krishna is saying Prajahati. He gives up completely. Kaman, all desires, Sarvan Partha Manogatan, arising from mental concoctions. Manogat. Continuously. For brahmachari, it's the biggest problem. Mind. Because on gross body, there are some 4 pleasures: eating, sleeping, mating, defending, of which we can do only 2, eating and sleeping. Means not 24 hours, but kind of. So how much will you eat? Max 1.5, 2 hours a day. Brahmachari. Services are also so many. Authorities will catch. Prasad may be there, but capacity is not there. And then sleeping 6 hours. Authorities are again watching. Morning program is compulsory. Early, other brahmacharis will not allow you to sleep early. So much noise in brahmacharya ashram. So only 2 pleasures are there. So what is there all the time for a brahmachari is mind. Mind and brahmachari, brahmachari and the mind. Mind and brahmachari, brahmachari and mind. And mind keeps concocting so many things. This did not happen properly. That should have happened. Why these authorities are like this? Why this president is like this? Why this department head is like this? This she's not going well in temple. That should have been spoken. So all the time kind of mental dialogue will go on. Manogat. So this should be given up. Sarvan Partha Manogatan. Then will be Sthita Pragya. So he's saying one should kill. Prabhupada's statements. One should kill. Kill is a very deadly word, isn't it? Finish off is also one simpler word. That is also a little heavy. But kill only directly. One should kill mental concoctions by the sword of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotee, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhaktivedant. That is a summary. But in my reading of Bhagavatam, I highlighted that, so I just thought of speaking. So okay, now we will begin with the first verse. According to the Subodhini, first 3 verses are talking about materially absorbed people cannot understand Tattva. So first, Brahmana uvacha akovidaha kovidavadavadan vadasya tho gopnati vidam varishtaha nasurayo hi vyavaharamenam tatvavamarshena sahamananti. Translation. The Brahman Jadabharat said. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear King, although you are not at all experienced, you are trying to speak like a very experienced man. Consequently, you cannot be considered an experienced person. An experienced person does not speak the way you are speaking about the relationship between a master and a servant or about material pains and pleasures. These are simply external activities. Any advanced, experienced man, considering the absolute truth, does not talk in this way. Is it for the first time he opened his mouth? Yeah, I think Rahugan only kept speaking till the end of 10th chapter. So here only first time it seems he's opening his mouth, as I said, because he found a suitable candidate. He is admonishing him. He is chastising him. Exactly the same way Arjuna was chastised. In fact, Prabhupada is saying that. Purport. Krishna similarly chastised Arjun, Ashochan anvashochastvam pragyavadamscha bhashase. While speaking learned verse, you are lamenting for what is not worthy of grief. Similarly, among people in general, 99.9% try to talk like experienced advisors, but they are actually devoid of spiritual knowledge and are therefore like inexperienced children speaking nonsensically. So today morning when I came in the train, people as soon as, especially many people are from Pune who are working in Mumbai. So early morning these trains, most of them are traveling like this, 6:05 Sinhagad Express, 7:15 Deccan Express, Deccan Queen Express, and 7:50 Pragati Express, maybe one or two more. Most of these employees are coming to Mumbai, and evening accordingly trains are there for them to go back to Pune also. So many of them are friends also. Somehow they come across each other and then they immediately start speaking this and that. But they are quite miserable. When you distribute books, then they tell, yeah, actually I wanted Gita sir. I cannot read a whole Bhagavad Gita, but I want to know exactly what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So they are not clear about life at all. So many problems are there. Experts, best people, accomplished people. Within few moments, you can see they are very tired in the train. They are completely put off. They're all down only. But devotees, they remain steady, more or less in the mode of goodness. Then we can preach. Though people may appear to be quite knowing everything, but they actually are all ignorant. So our goal should be to distribute books, give them knowledge. And then we come to know also how much ignorance is there and how much they suffer because of that ignorance. And when we give the books of Srila Prabhupada, then Prabhupada will guide them. Prabhupada will show them path. Ahead he says, so 99.9% try to talk like experienced advisors, but they are actually devoid of spiritual knowledge and are therefore like inexperienced children speaking nonsensically. Consequently, their words cannot be given any importance. One has to learn from Krishna or his devotee. If one speaks on the basis of this experience, that is, on the basis of spiritual knowledge, one's words are valuable. At the present moment, the entire world is full of foolish people. Bhagavad Gita describes these people as moodas. They are trying to rule human society, but because they are devoid of spiritual knowledge, the entire world is in a chaotic condition. To be released from these miserable conditions, one has to become Krishna conscious and take lessons from an exalted personality like Jada, Lord Krishna and Kapil Dev. That is the only way to solve the problems of material life. The Prabhupada, all the purports will be direct action plan. We should preach. We should distribute books. Sankirtan moment. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna only, who has appeared in Kali Yuga for delivering people. And he spread Yuga Dharma. And Hare Krishna Mahamanta. Very simple in that sense. He does enlighten us about the subject matter that is discussed in the verse. But as far as the conclusion goes, it's very clear. We should preach. Should practice nicely and preach. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, his commentary we'll see. There are many acharyas have written commentaries, but we'll see only one. Afterwards, you can refer to other commentaries also. In the first verse commentary, the first paragraph talks about the summary of the whole chapter in just few lines. The 11th chapter describes that the mind is the cause of samsara, that it has many transformations, and that by engaging it in bhakti, one can attain liberation. Mind is in focus. Mind is very powerful, very subtle. It has unlimited power, kind of. But then If we tap it, then only. Otherwise, unlimitedly, it can destroy one. The way people are suffering is mind only, uncontrolled mind. Manahi manushanam karanam bandha mokshayo. Mind only is the cause of liberation. Mind only is the cause of bondage also. You are not learned, but you speak words of objection like the wise. Therefore, you are not the best among the wise, very wise, since the wise do not speak of the material world and its objects, claiming they are concluding truth, by calling the objects substantial while giving examples, since both the world and its objects have faults. Wise people don't talk about mundane subject matters or mundane things also. Those who are not wise, they will do that. They will speak, oh, this item is very good, this product, that mall is better, or this job kind of job is better. This bank will give more interest, or investment there would be helpful. So this kind of worldly things only they will speak. But wise people, they may have to do some of these things, but their one nice word recently we heard is ashraddha. Especially those who are in spiritual line, they do these things, but without faith in these things being the source of one's maintenance. The source of my maintenance is Krishna only. That clarity is there with the voice. But I have to set an example for others. That's it. But they don't have any shraddha in those things, activities, worldly maintenance, for worldly maintenance, whatever they do. They don't have faith in that. They have faith in Krishna. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, many years back I heard lecture in that. It is a thing about security or something like that. He said the only security in creation is faith in Krishna. All other so-called securities are no securities at all. Anything can happen and the security is no more. One may keep money securely in the bank, but through scam or something, it may be gone. No matter what you do, none of the mundane arrangements are security. But those who are within the grip of illusory material energy, they think this is it, and they know nothing further, nothing higher. So they discuss these things only. But wise do not. That's what Jada Bharat is telling him. Since the world, both the world and its objects have faults. You have given the example of the fire applied to the pot which heats the milk, which then cooks the rice in it. In this example, there is connection of the material pot with material fire. However, there is no contact of the material senses, life airs, and the mind with the liberated Atma, which is a spiritual particle. Thus, fatigue of the body does not mean fatigue of the Atma. Fatigue. But we find in our case also to some extent, he slept less previous night. I think I need some rest. Why? Because identification with that mind. Mind dictates, hey, you slept less yesterday, only 3.5 or 4 hours. So we identify strongly with the mind. So then Atma also feels tired, so to say. Oh, I cannot chant. Already one round took 22 minutes. So I think I need some rest like that. When I was in NIT Warangal 2006 to whatever 10, so that time when Radhesham Prabhu came, 3 days he would come in a semester. My God, those 3 days are unforgettable days. Only the moment you receive till you drop him in the train and say bye-bye, the whole time is very tense period. So only when you tell him bye-bye, then I would come back to Wise, latch the room from inside, Brahmachari room, and sleep for 3 hours minimum. Even if there is earthquake, I cannot get up because could not get proper rest in the previous night and strongly identifying with the mind. So once when he was present, I was chanting one round and it was appearing like, I have been chanting for crores and crores of years. I was wondering what happened. So I took out the beads. So I saw Guru Mani was exactly below. That means half the round was over. And I saw the stopwatch. 22 minutes were over. So in 22 minutes, half the round is over. I said, this is a very costly round. I cannot afford this. So I immediately dropped it and I started from Guru Mani, next to Guru Mani, and I went and walked and chanted. Then it was, 7-8 minutes. So identifying with the mind makes Atma, so to say, tired and all those feelings come. But otherwise, Atma has nothing to do. This fatigue of the body does not mean fatigue of the Atma. Because the conditioned jiva is covered by the material body, the conditioned jiva experiences fatigue because of the fatigued body, which is material. Your inference fails because you cannot say that you, the conditioned jiva, are the same as me, the liberated jiva. The Jadavaras teaching a little higher. Be attentive and try to understand as much as you can understand. Second, Tathaiva Rajan Nuguru Har Hamedha Vitana Vidyoru Vijrumbiteshu Navedavadeshu hi tatvavadaha Prayena Shuddho Nuchakasti Sadhuhu. My dear king talks of the relationship between the master and the servant. The king and the subject and so forth are simply talks about material activities. People interested in material activities which are expounded in the Vedas are intent on performing material sacrifices and placing faith in their material activities. For such people, spiritual advancement is definitely not manifest. If we are talking about mundane subject matter, that means we have interest to continue here only. Just like all those who want to go to America, they discuss so much about America. Yes or no? So, how many of you had been outside of India? Yeah, 1, 2, yeah. So, before going to that country, wherever you went, you must have talked a lot about it, heard a lot about it. Okay, I'm going to this country, and I inquired from people, how it is like, and after reaching, what should I do, and this and that, accommodation, prasad, so many considerations like that. And most of us have not been outside of India, so we have not discussed so much. We only hear America, London, Australia. But details of that, which street in America, that Prabhupada pastime related things we know. Frederick Street, 26th 2nd Avenue. If you hear 25th Street, then we'll be wondering, where is this 25th Street? Maybe next to 26th. But otherwise, we don't have much idea because we have not been there, we have not heard much about it. But if you want to go to Golok Vrindavan, we have to hear a lot about Golok Vrindavan and we should speak a lot about that place. Then you are qualified to go. Otherwise, not. So, every day, Bhagavad class, reading, hearing is all about knowing that place. Na tad bhasayate suryo, na shashanko, na pavaka, yad gatva na nivardante, tad dhama paramas. So, this is very basic, least information about Golok Vrindavan Dham Krishna is giving to Arjun and through him to us. But this is very less. So in Bhagavatam we will have much description of Vaikuntha world, 15th chapter of 3rd canto. And Golok Vrindavan, Krishna gave darshan to Vrajavasis. After killing Dantavakra when he came and stayed there for 2 months or so in Vrindavan. So that time they were a little curious about Golok, the Dham and all that. So then Krishna revealed to them and they were wondering, wow, so beautiful. And as they were watching, and then suddenly thought came, this seems to be quite similar to our Dham only, Vrindavan only. Everything is more or less same only. That was their realization. And it is true also. So we get a glimpse of this Golok Vrindavan in this literature. And we have to hear a lot about it. A lot. Because we are planning to go there. Unless we are attracted about that place, how would we be thinking of or determined to go there? So here Prabhupada has quoted Yamimam Pushpatam Vasham, second Vedvada Ratha, etc. I will not read many things from the purport. I will not be able to read all the purports. You can read, you will have to read for closed book exam and to some extent for OBE also, OBA, or that open book assessment and all that. But some things maybe in that 377 page towards the end, Vedavadi, a blind follower of the Vedic injunctions. Vedavadi, so वाद करते हैं, बोलते रहते हैं काफ़ी वेद के बारे में, ठीक से पता नहीं होता. A blind follower of the Vedic injunction. A Vedavadi cannot be purified from material contamination unless he becomes a Tattvavadi. That is one who knows Tattva, the absolute truth. Tattva is also experienced in 3 features, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaniti, Shabdade. So Vedavadis are mostly this Yamimam Pushpitam Vacham. They are talking about Karma Kanda section, in which you do this Yagya, Dan, Tapa, something, and then you go to heaven, then heavenly delights, Apsaras, Somras, and Nandan Kanan gardens, and all those kind of activities. So he is just a Vedavadi. But from there, one has to march forward to become a Tattvavadi. Tattvavadi is very important. Tattva, if you know, in fact, that is Guru also. Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kenenoy. Ei Krishna Tattvavetta Sei Guru hai. He knows Krishna Tattva nicely, but otherwise, Prabhupada is talking about this. Vadanti Tat Tattva Vidas Tattvam Yajnanam Advayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan iti Shabdate. The non-dual substance is said to be having three features: the absolute truth, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. So that is what Prabhupada is guiding us to. Even after coming to the platform of understanding Tattva, one must worship Bhagwan, Vishnu and his expansions, or one is not yet perfect. Bahunam Janmanam Anti Gyanavan Mam Prapadyate. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudulava. Or Evam Yovetti Tattvataha. So Tattva is a lot of stress is given on Tattva. So many places. First comes Krishna's greatness and then Krishna's sweetness. So Tattva has to be understood thoroughly. He also says, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, 4th chapter, Siddhanta Boliya Chitte Na Kore Alas Iha Haite Krishna Lage Sudruda Manas. If you want your mind to be stuck to Krishna, Iha Haite Krishna Lage Sudruda Manas. If your mind has to be attached to Krishna completely, stick to Krishna, then you have to know the Siddhanta, Tattva, thoroughly. Evam Yavetti Tattvataha. So many places it is stressed. That's why studying Prabhupada books and Acharya's books are very important. Otherwise, Maya is spreading so much of propaganda. That how this thing will make you happy, that thing will make you happy, this will make you alive. So all this false propaganda of Maya can be destroyed only with very strong intelligence. And the strong intelligence develops by knowing this Tattva. In fact, one of the Sandarbhas is Tattva Sandarbha. First one only, by Srila JUHU Goswami. So whole Tattva of Bhagavatam he has analyzed very nicely. And like that we have to know thoroughly. Sambandha Gyan means knowing the Jiva, the Supreme Lord, Jiva and Prakruti, their interrelations and how they act and all that. This is Sambandha Gyan. So this has to be thoroughly studied. One should not be lazy in that. Many times when prayers come, Tattva is emphasized like anything. And there is no pastime only there. Whosoever glorifies, whoever offers prayers, a lot of Tattva he speaks. And the worst may be that 10th canto, Vedas personified only. My God. Prabhupada also has given so many purports there. 150 pages, I think, that whole chapter. Lot. And we feel so bored there. One might as well sleep there. Or one may skip it and directly go to the next chapter where some pastime is there. It is so soothing. But that is not the way. We cannot skip it. That's why he is saying, Na kare alas. And that too to speak. To speak the philosophy, before that you should have heard, you should have read. That's a big austerity. And the next austerity is to speak the philosophy. Many may yawn, many may sleep during your class when you speak the philosophy. Even Srila Bhaktivedant Thakur, he would speak Tattva like anything. People, it would be all bouncing on the heads of literally everyone, except maybe few. Bhakti Rakshak Siddha Swami Maharaj, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, and maybe few. Even Prabhupada said, when the Guru Maharaj would speak, I would have tough time to understand it like that. That is Prabhupada's humility also. He understood the heart of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but the Tattva was coming through the mouth, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. That was still very difficult only. But one has to get rid of that laziness. And by reading and hearing repeatedly, we can overcome this difficulty. Once I was reading 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, for the second time I was reading, so it was bouncing on my head, all those things, how this false ego mixed with the mode of goodness produces mind. How false ego mixed with the goodness. My goodness, I'm not understanding how mind is produced from this. So I wrote an email to Raisham Prabhu that Prabhu, I'm reading 3rd canto, but it's bouncing on my head. Could you please tell what to do? So then his reply was, I am also reading 3rd canto. It is bouncing on my head also. Continue reading. You will understand eventually. Wow, misery loves company. Okay, it's bouncing on his head also, so no problem. And that is also true. If you keep reading again and again, same thing which you are not understanding only, so Krishna feels compassion. Oh, you are eager to know about me, Miss Tattva, though it is not your cup of tea. So Krishna then makes it little clearer to us. We can understand it. Krishna becomes Sadai. He's not Nirdaya, but he becomes more compassionate. Despite not being able to understand, you are struggling there, so I will help you. So likewise. So Srila Chakravarti Pad writes, but the Mimamsakas do not consider anything except attainment of Swarga as the goal of life. Thus, what is the use of discussing the truth? That is true. Talking about the highest truth is not for the ignorant who are unqualified. That is explained in this verse. Mahaprabhu also you can see, with the classes he had philosophical discussions. But with masses, Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In fact, that whole book, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, is nothing but, I think, 5 strong philosophical discussions with Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sarvam Bhattacharya, Prakashan Saraswati, Ramananda. So 5 only, na? So all are very pandu, very difficult. If you see, this goes quite high. But those discussions are there, and these are with classes. These are high class devotees, eternal associates. The Sarvam Bhattacharya is Brihaspati in heaven. Then Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari. Sanatana Goswami is which one? Lavang Manjari. Lavang, no? Anang Manjari. Okay. Then Ramananda is Vishaka Saki. And who else remain? Prakashan Saraswati, we don't know. But he is head of all the Mayavadi sannyasis. He is a guru also. So we have very technical discussions are there. But we have to try to understand. Just as spiritual discussion does not arise in daily mundane activities which give visible results, so spiritual discussion certainly does not arise in Vedic statements, karma kand, manifesting prominently as a proliferation of sacrifices related to household life with unseen results known as karma. So there also in karma kanda section, spiritual discussion will not come so much. It is much with the understanding that one wants enjoyment. So all the discussions are like that only. Why? Spiritual discussions are without violence, shuddha, and without passion or pure, sadhu. This karma kanda section will involve animal sacrifices and all that. So violence is there. But in spiritual discussions, absolutely no violence. They are different from discussions about Swarga. Spiritual discussions do not generally, prayana, arise in these statements. However, by performing those activities of the Vedas without desire for results and offering them to the Lord, Nishkam Karma Yoga, and by knowledge and detachment, one can reach the spiritual platform. So are you getting it? Little tough. But we'll understand eventually. Third one. Natasya tattva grahanaya sakshad variyasirapi vachaha samasan swapne niruktya grahamedhi saukyam nayasya heya numitam swayam syat. A dream becomes automatically known to a person as false and immaterial, and similarly one eventually realizes that material happiness in this life or the next, on this planet or a higher planet, is insignificant. When one realizes this, the Vedas, although an excellent source, are insufficient to bring about direct knowledge of the truth. So as dream is known to be false or material life also. So Vedas give us perfect knowledge and they make it clear also this material life is temporary. That's why this Jagannath Mishra was very concerned. After Vishwarup taking sannyas, Vishwambar became very serious in his studies. Then that caused fear in the heart of Jagannath Mishra. Oh, if he studies the Vedas too much, then he will also understand there is no happiness in this material life. Hmm. So he will also go for renounced order of life. I will lose my second son also. He will take sannyas. I don't want. Better he remains illiterate at home. So he stopped his going to school. But then the direct knowledge about the Supreme Lord is not so very clearly also given in the Vedas, are insufficient to bring about direct knowledge of the truth. 96 or more percent of the Vedas talk a lot about Karma Kand only. And if at all, then directly about the Supreme Truth, then also it is quite, in one sense, it's vague. Brahman, Paramatma, so much. Very rarely, only it is glory of our Acharyas who have given directly presented Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, directly to us. Had it not been for these Acharyas and Prabhupada, we would be just wandering in this realm of Vedic literature and never coming to a conclusion. In the middle of the purport, Prabhupada says, if a person does not come to the conclusion that he has nothing to do with any kind of material happiness, he cannot come to the platform of understanding the absolute truth or Tattva Gyan. For that matter, even Gyanis also, for many lifetimes, they had enjoyed and tried to enjoy the life, and then they become frustrated, come to realize there is no happiness in this material mundane activities. And they are the ones who are after the truth, absolute truth. But then the best understanding of the absolute truth is Brahman only. And then they remain stuck there because of disrespecting Lord's lotus feet. They can't understand. But then many lifetimes later, Bahunam Janmana Ante Jnanavan, such a Jnani may come to Krishna. That's why he is best. Udara Sarva Evete Jnani Twatveyo Me Matam. That Chaturvida Bhajante Mam Jana Sukrutunat Arjuna Arto Jigyasu Arthati Jnani Cha Bharatashava. The next Krishna says, of the four, Jnani is the best because he has come searching for me only. First he got deluded by thinking impersonal Brahman to be myself, and that took many lifetimes. But now getting fed up with that impersonal Brahman, he has come to me. Whereas other three have some mundane motive, getting rid of their distress, financial crunch, and some kind of inquisitiveness. So there is not much there. But if they get association of devotees, they can get rooted in bhakti. Chakradipad writes, but is it not impudent to say that you have a method of giving the karmis the truth, but then say that you will not teach them? The words of the Vedanta are not at all suitable, samasan, for all men, though those words are best for directly understanding the highest truth. As in a dream which is momentary and false, these same men do not by themselves infer the inferiority of the happiness of household life. The happiness of the karmis is temporary, meager, and related to material objects. The Atma does not have a relationship with this material happiness. This happiness is false for the Atma, like horns on a rabbit. The happiness of the Jnani, however, is eternal, not temporary, since it is related to Brahman. There is great difference between the two. This is the purpose of giving out the highest truth. Jadanand, Brahmanand, and Bhaktianand. So Brahmanand is superior certainly, but Jadanand is very meager, temporary. All related to material objects which are themselves temporary. Yeah, fourth. Now fourth to eighth, the mind is the cause of entanglement. So this is a very important subject matter for brahmacharis particularly. For everyone, but for brahmacharis. Fourth one. Yavan mano rajasa purushasya satvena va tamasa vanuruddham cheto bhira kuti bhira tanoti nirankusham kushalam chetaram va As long as the mind of the living entity is contaminated by the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, his mind is exactly like an independent, uncontrolled elephant. It simply expands its jurisdiction of pious and impious activities by using the senses. The result is that the living entity remains in the material world to enjoy and suffer pleasures and pains due to material activity. Mind is compared to palm. Like if I want to drink water, with my palm, I can't do anything with that bottle and glass. But then the outlet of this palm are the five fingers. Using these fingers, I can fulfill my desire of drinking water. So likewise, our mind cannot get the desires fulfilled without senses. So that's what he's saying. The result is that the living entity remains in the material world. Okay. It simply expands its jurisdiction of pious and impious activities by using the senses. Yeah, whatever it wants to do, pious or impious, will do it through the senses. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that the material pious and impious activities are both opposed to the principle of devotional service. Bhadra, Dvaite Bhadra Bhadra Gyan, Sava Manodharma, Yai Bhalo, Yai Manda, Yai Sava Brahma. I think this is also in 4th chapter of Adi Lila. So he's saying Dvaite, all the dualities, heat, cold, happiness, distress, honor, dishonor, all that. Dvaite Bhadra Bhadra Gyan. So because of that, this is good, that is not good. Now cold, we may like say it's very good in summer. But in winter, cold only is there and we say it is not good. It's so cold this year. We blame that cold. So Dvaite Bhadra Abhadra Gyan. What is considered auspicious is not no more auspicious after some time or in other circumstances. Yahi Sabha Mano Dharma. This is all mental concoction. Yahi Bhalo, Yahi Manda, Yahi Sabha Brahma. This is good, that is bad. This is all illusion. So that's what is stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Devotional service means mukti, freedom from material entanglement. But pious and impious activities result in entanglement within this material world. If the mind is captivated by the pious and impious activities mentioned in the Vedas, one remains eternally in darkness. One cannot attain the absolute platform. To change the consciousness from ignorance to passion or from passion to goodness does not really solve the problem. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 14.26, Sagunan Samatetyan Brahma Bhuyayas Kalpate. One must come to the transcendental platform. Otherwise, life's mission is never fulfilled. Krishna says, Traigunya Vishaya Vida, Nistraigunya Bhavajuna, Nirdvando Nitya Sattvasto, Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. Vedas talk mainly about the three modes, Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. But you become or you go beyond the three modes. The coming to the mode of goodness is not the solution. Goodness is the stepping stone, springboard. We can use it to jump in the swimming tank, swimming pool. That goodness is compared to that cantilever beam or what they call springboard. That swimmer goes there and takes jumps like this few times. But if he remains like that only, 1 hour is over, 2 hours, 3 hours, all people will go away. He is a fool. He is playing there like children. He is supposed to jump from there in the water. So that water below swimming pool represents the ocean of devotional service. So from goodness, one should jump in that pure goodness platform of relishing Krishna Bhakti. Otherwise, it is not so much useful. Chakravarti Pas says, why is it that generally, even though enlightened by the devotees, all men engage in material happiness? As long as the mind is bound by Rajas, Sattva or Tamas, the mind, like an uncontrolled mad elephant, engages a saintly person in Dharma, Kushalam or Adharma, Itaram, by the knowledge senses, Chetobhi, and the action senses, Akutibhi. By force, the mind with its gunas, destroying discrimination, engages in pious or impious or sinful actions. What fault is there in the human being for this? That's why in Anartha Nivrutti stage also, the sadhaka may reach Anartha Nivrutti after Bhajan Kriya. Bhajan Kriya technically begins after initiation. We begin Bhajan officially, but then Anartha Nivrutti stage, there are 4 anarthas. Which are they? Sukrutotha, Dushkrutotha, Aparadotha, and Bhaktiotha. Bhakti also produces anarthas. You will get garland, you will get high seat. You'll get many followers. To digest it all is not so easy. One may get stuck there. But anyway, Sukrutotta and Dushkrutotta are also there. We'll get stuck there. Pride coming from one's high background, great background like that. But then Dushkrutotta is also there because of some impious activities in the past. So despite chanting the holy name, especially without attention, then the sinful tendencies will grow. That's why we find after spending 10, 15, 20 years, the devotees perform sinful activities, at least one or two, in a very heavy way, big way. And you are wondering, like this, how come? Yeah, was inattentive chanting. So it will lead to adharma also. Attachment to dharma and attachment to adharma. So one will think, I am so pious. Others are sinful. And other side, one may commit sinful activities also. So Maya is very cunning, very powerful. Only after this stage is over, another nivritti. Basically, passion and ignorance are reduced to 25%. According to Prabhupada's one lecture, 75% of passion and ignorance should go away. Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu. And one is only left with 25% of passion and ignorance. And you can say 75% goodness. Then he enters in Nishtha stage. And then further progress is faster in one sense. Nishtha is the plateau, flat surface on the top of the mountain. Then Ruchi Asakti Bhav Prem is climbing down the mountain, which is quite fast, quite easy. Climbing up is very difficult. Shraddha, Sadhu Sang, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. Nishtha onwards it will be somewhat smooth. But these considerations are there. By force the mind with its gunas, destroying discrimination, engages in pious or sinful actions. What fault is there in the human being for this? Then fifth. How the mind leads to entanglement is discussing. Fifth one. Savasanatma vishayo parakto guna pravaho vikrutaha shodashatma bibhrat pruthanganamabhi rupa bhedam antarbahistvam cha puraistanoti. Because the mind is absorbed in desires for pious and impious activities, it is naturally subjected to the transformations of lust and anger. In this way, it becomes attracted to material sense enjoyment. In other words, the mind is conducted by the modes of goodness, passion and ignorance. There are 11 senses and 5 material elements. And out of these 16 items, the mind is the chief. Therefore, the mind brings about birth in different types of bodies among demigods, human beings, animals and birds. When the mind is situated in a higher or lower position, it accepts a higher or lower material body. Karanam guna sangosya sad asad yoni janmasu. So by associating with the mode of goodness, sad yoni, devata yoni, good human birth will be achieved. Otherwise asad yoni, pig's body, cat's, dog's bodies, very lower, they will be obtained. Prabhupada quotes Prakrute Kriyamanani and Krishna Bhuli says you Anadi Bahirmukh Ataiva Maya Tare Deya Samsara Dukh. And in the middle he says material existence means being fully controlled by material nature. Material nature is made up of 3 modes, Sattva, Raja, Tama. So our effect of these 3 modes should not be much on the sadhaka, but it is very heavy till anartha nivritti. The grip of Maya is very powerful. So many deadly thoughts come and even actions may go wrong. One has to protect himself. In the commentary, Chakravartipad writes, the mind, Atma, endowed with impressions of piety and sin, contaminated with sense objects, agitated by the gunas, transformed by lust and other emotions, the chief element among the 16, the 5 gross elements, the 10 senses and the mind. accepting different forms such as devata, animal or human, higher or lower, through bodies, puraihi, manifests itself with various names. The sandhi should be namabhi rupa bhedam. Okay, the short form namabhi is poetic license. So mind is quite complicated, subtle also. Sixth one. Dukkham sukham vyatiriktam chativram kalopapannam phalamavanakti alingya maya rachinta chitantaratma swadehinam samsruti chakrakutaha. The materialistic mind covering the living entity's soul carries it to different species of life. This is called continued material existence. Due to the mind, the living entity suffers or enjoys material distress and happiness. Being thus illusioned, the mind further creates pious and impious activities and their karma, and thus the soul becomes conditioned. So Sukha Dukkha is all experienced at mind. Shita Ushna is experienced at gross body. And honor, dishonor is experienced by the false ego. So Krishna has said, Jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahitaha shitoshna sukha dukkheshu tatha manapamanayo. One who has controlled his mind, Paramatma is already reached. In between Paramatma and us, the mind only is creating problem. So one who has controlled his mind and senses, he can see Paramatma directly face to face and take guidance from him. That much purity is there. But then who has reached super soul? Who has controlled his mind and senses? How to know? Externally, how to know? These are very difficult parameters. Who will keep watching him? Whether in all conditions he is able to control his mind and senses. And how does he receive knowledge from Paramatma? It's a very difficult, abstract thing kind of. So that's why Krishna very mercifully says, external symptoms of such a person are, he is equipoised in Shita Ushna, Sukha Dukkha, Mana Apman. So Shita Ushna is gross body. Our skin feels cold. Our skin feels hot, heat. And mind experiences happiness and distress. Whereas false ego gets disturbed by insult and feels very nice when somebody honors. So all three platforms he has crossed. Gross body, mind and false ego. So then what is there? False ego you have crossed. Then Jarayati Ashu Ya Kosham Nigharanam Ulbano Yatha. Lord Kapila says one should kind of melt subtle body. Subtle body should not be there. Mind, intelligence and false ego. So mind goes by happiness, distress, and false ego by insult and honor. So we have to cross. For a pure devotee, Atma is there and outside the five senses of the body is there. And in between the subtle body does not exist of mind, intelligence and false ego. That means contaminations of mind, intelligence, false ego are not there. That's why his pure desires directly come through eyes, nostrils, ear holes and all that. And they influence people so much. People say, in fact that is the characteristic of Uttama Adhikari. Just by seeing him, one is reminded of Krishna. So how can one remember Krishna? Because in between subtle body contamination is not there for a pure devotee. Impure mind, lusty intelligence and crazy false ego. These things don't exist. Jarayati Ashu Ya Kosham. Kosham means that subtle body of mind, intelligence and false ego. Jarayati. Jarayati means make it jirna kind of. Ajaram Pasham. Very strong. Jara means invalidity, weakness. Body doesn't have strength. So like that, this mind, intelligence, false ego, material mind, intelligence, false ego should lose their strength and they should melt ultimately. So only soul, internal, inside and outside the senses, body, and in between no contamination. Then it is amazing. So in the sixth one, commentary, Chakravartipada writes, the mind creates suitable results. The mind creates distress, happiness, illusion which are unavoidable, Tivram. How can something material, the mind, create anything? Embracing the Jiva, Swadehinam, which is the real cause, the mind, Antaratma, a covering on the Jiva, creates. The mind causes deception, which causes repeated rebirth. Samskruti Chakra Kutaha. Similarly, Gram Kutaka means the village cheater. So, mind cheats us. Mind kind of embraces the Jiva, he's saying. So, the Hinam, which is the real cause, Jiva, the mind, a covering on the Jiva, creates. In one sense, like that glow, hand glow, boxing glow. So it seems to be in action. So likewise, this mind is stuck to the soul. Too much identification with the mind. Then mind creates, though it is dead. It appears like that glow is boxing glow is beating the other person. But it is not so. It is stuck to the hand. That's why it is like that. If it is removed from the hand, kept down, it won't attack at all. It is the hand, the jiva in one sense. But then the mind is stuck to it and becomes so-called active. It creates and does so many things. The mind causes deception, which causes repeated rebirth. That kuta word is that deception, and kutaka means cheater. Grama kutaka is another word he is giving. Seventh, tavanayam vyavaharaha sadavihi kshetragya saksho bhavati sthula sukshmaha tasman mano lingamado vadanti gunagunattvasya paravarasya. The mind makes the living entity within this material world wander through different species of life, and thus the living entity experiences mundane affairs in different forms as a human being, demigod, fat person, skinny person, and so forth. Learned scholars say that bodily appearance, bondage and liberation are caused by the mind. So, manahi manushanam karanam bandhu moksha, same point. Chakravati Pad says, samsara caused by the mind is called the practical material world. Mind makes it practical, so to say. It is highly impractical, but mind, because of attachment to this world, makes it practical. In this way, the material world makes its appearance, avihi, always seen by the knower of the field, Atma, in waking and dreaming states, stula sukshmaha. The happiness of the self, which is called truth, is caused by the mind. Therefore, that mind alone is the cause, lingam, of samsara, guna, and liberation, agunattvasya, which are low, avarasya, and high, para, conditions for the jiva. The order of the two words, para and avara, should be reversed to correspond to guna and agunattvasya. So that just for the rhyme or whatever, it is used paravara, but actually avara, if you see the word meaning, avara is higher. Guna agunattvasya. The mind alone is the cause of, that is lingam, of samsara, guna. Samsara is guna and liberation agunattvasya. So samsara and liberation, guna agunattvasya. So samsara is not para. Para seems to be higher, I think. Yeah, so it has to be reversed. But then for rhyme or whatever, it is put in that way. Then 8th one. Gunanuraktam vyasana yajantoha kshemaya nairgunyamato manasya yatha pradipo ghrutavarti ashnan shikhaha sadhuma bhajati hi anyada swam padam tatha gunakarma nubaddham Vrittirmanaha shrayate anyatra tvatvam. When the living entity's mind becomes absorbed in the sense gratification of the material world, it brings about his conditioned life and suffering within this material situation. However, when the mind becomes unattached to material enjoyment, it becomes a cause of liberation. When the flame in a lamp burns the wick improperly, the lamp is blackened. But when the lamp is filled with ghee and is burning properly, there is bright illumination. Similarly, when the mind is absorbed in material sense gratification, it causes suffering. And when detached from material sense gratification, it brings about the original brightness of Krishna consciousness. So it's so easy in one sense. We have to just detach our mind from material sense enjoyment and we are liberated. Said easily than done. Practically we find it so difficult. So much strong attachment is there. We identify so much. Anything, even within ISKCON management, any topic you take, how the kitchen should be. Everybody will open mouth. This should be there and that should not be there, and the staff is not good. And so much we speak. We have full plan to settle here only. In Mumbai. Amchi Mumbai. We don't want to. So, very difficult. Very difficult. That's why we should have nothing to say about anything in this world. Theek chal raha hai. Prabhupada said also on the deathbed, everything is moving by the will of the Supreme. This consciousness is called as Krishna consciousness. But we say, no. Bhagwan ka hai. There are other people who are involved, managers, presidents, department head, and they are not running it well. So I will give suggestion how it can be run properly. And we have so many suggestions. In fact, I can get into action also. Make me only the department head. I will improve it, take it to height, like that. So many things to say. That Shotevadini Rajendra, Nrunam Santisa. There are so many subject matters for hearing and speaking also then. So likewise, we also have so much attachment. ISKCON will improve if we do like this. ISKCON will improve. And what about your own improvement? Do you hear 27,648 holy names daily? ये क्या है? ये 16 माला के अंदर इतने हरि नाम है, तो इतने होते हैं क्या? Do they come out of our mouth? 27,648. Do you feel at the end of 16 rounds that 13,500 plus times I called out to Srimati Radharani, and 13,500 plus times I called out to Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Radha? They are behind the curtain in the altar. I am here in temple hall, sweating like anything because the fan is not moving. And the president is sitting in front of that fan. And I am only resident. Only P is missing, but so much suffering, sweating like anything. Because only P is not there, prefix before the resident. He is president, I am resident. But Zamin Asman का अंतर है. वो फैन की हवा में बैठा है and he has many fans. And मुझे फैन नहीं मिल रहा है. No living fans, no dead fan. कुछ नहीं है. I'm suffering. So nice example he is only giving of the flame in the lamp, depending on the wick condition. Wick means W-I-C-K. So if it is not properly burning, then the whole lamp becomes black. So whether it is illuminating the area around or it is not serving the purpose, that depends on the wick, how it is. But if the ghee is nice and the wick is burning properly, so much illumination. So mind, if sense gratification, then suffering. And if it is engaged free from sense gratification, then brings about the brightness of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada quotes Mam Chayo Avyabhicharena. Bhaktivedant Sasagunan Samatitya Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpade. And Chakravarti Pad writes, how can the one mind be the cause of different conditions, bondage and liberation? Nirgunyam means nirgunam. A lamp with a burnt up ghee wick burns with a smoky flame, and at another time gets extinguished and merges with the elements, swapadam. So two explanations is giving in one sense. It burns up, isn't it? The wick is lost by the end of that nice burning of the lamp and merges with the elements. Fire goes in fire. Whatever elements are there, they merge in their respective global elements. Or a lamp with a burnt up ghee wick, burns with a smoky flame, but when fed on golden ghee, it burns without smoke in its brilliant form, Swapadam. So one side it is like the existence of the wick is gone because it burnt nicely. Nice illumination happened as long as it was there. And the other side, it burns without smoke in its brilliant form, nicely burning, Swapadam. Similarly, the mind bound by the gunas takes shelter of many functions, Vrittihi, but at another time obtains a taste of the Lord's sweetness, Tattvam. So that the wick burning fully and losing its existence is compared to taking shelter of many functions, Vrittis, the mind, and that is leading to bondage in one sense. But at another time obtains a taste of the Lord's sweetness, Tattvam, burning nicely. Okay, I think we need some break also. 10 minutes we'll have break. Then we'll continue. Devotees can get refreshed. Stretch your hands, legs. It's very technical subject matter. Story part is over. Now, Rahugan was suitable candidate. And president, seeing that we are residents, forced us to do this Bhakti Vaibhav course. Mostly we are also suitable. Hare Krishna. I don't know whether to take or not. I did not drink this water also.